Hi everyone, welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session on Build Your Personal Brand Online. My name is Benedict. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. Just a bit about myself, I'm an experienced coding specialist and digital skills trainer, as well as having a background in the digital creative industry and worked in the sector for over 20 years. I would also like to introduce our amazing moderator, Francois. Francois is also a Google Digital Garage coach and will be interacting with you and answering just about all your questions via the instant chat to the right. You can identify the moderator by his name, Francois, as well as a little blue spanner next to his name. Now, just before we start, I just wanted to call out a few things to help you today. Firstly, if you're having any trouble viewing the webinar at any point, please do try refreshing your page. If you would like to join the instant chat today, you do need a YouTube account, which you can very easily set up by clicking in the box on the right there. And please do, because there's a great opportunity. It's interacting. This is what we're here for, to help you and assist. We'll be pausing throughout the session to answer the more complex questions from the chat box. So please do feel free to fire away with your questions throughout. Just to let you know, we are running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of a broader offering of courses. If you would like to check out our schedule of upcoming webinar training, please see information on this in the description below, which links you through to our website. All right, so that is the housekeeping done. Let's get started with Build Your Personal Brand Online. And just before that, I just want to ask you one thing, please. Can you please introduce yourselves and tell me where you're signing on from? It'd be really interesting to see that. I'd love to welcome you all in your different places. So please do put now where you're signing on from. Thank you very much. I just want to welcome here Niels. Welcome, Niels. Fiona as well. Welcome as well. Oh, it's your first Digital Garage webinar. Welcome. This is great that you're here. So, welcome, Paula, in London now. That's great. Anna in London. That's great. And Sanjaya in Sri Lanka. Welcome to all of you. It's great to have you all here. And Niels, Mielo in the Netherlands. Lovely. And Ali from Egypt. Excellent. And this is my first time also to join a webinar. And then we've got Merita in Indonesia. Excellent. Welcome. And Nurana from Washington, D.C. Welcome. This is great to have you all here present. So, you know, it's a great opportunity. So we will be here to help you and assist you with all these different points. So now, getting started with this, these are the three things we're going to concentrate on today. Oh, and just before I get started, they've got Nuhan in Egypt. Welcome. And Fiona from Singapore. Excellent. That's great. I remember you saying at the beginning. So today, largely to understand your online presence and your personal brand, you know, how do we actually identify good personal branding? This is what we're going to be looking at. And then, of course, building your brand online from platform choice to content type to writing that all-important bio, and then increasing your visibility online, first growing a network, finding and posting relevant content, and turning those online connections into offline opportunities. Okay, and Ghazi, welcome from Pakistan. That's great. So let's begin by defining a brand. Let's start with that. But just before we do that, there's a great opportunity. I'm afraid this is only for those who are in the small business or a charity in the UK. Great opportunity, one-to-one mentoring. At present, it's only in the UK. Hopefully this will eventually get out to the rest of the world. We're hoping this will all happen, but at present it's only in the UK. So it's a great opportunity. You can speak to one of us. We can help you, obviously, whilst you're building your particular brand, whilst you're building your particular business, you know, all these different things, bounce off some of different ideas, you know, going through the different digital ways of marketing it and all the rest. So all of these can help you. Thank you there, Francois, giving you there the link. All right, so let us now get started. So understanding your online presence and personal brand. You know, do you have any brands you buy regularly? You know, why do you actually buy that brand? This is the kind of question you should ask yourself first. And what defines a brand? You know, what defines a brand? Now, largely a brand is a type of product manufactured by a particular company under a particular name. That's basically what it is. But it's much more than that. A brand is how products that are the same stand out from each other. So let's have a quick look at these couple of different points. Your online presence is everything you do online. Very, very important. So think about it. Do you have a social media profile? And what kind of things are in your profile? Do you feel they reflect your brand and what you and your principles and everything of what you represent? So all of these things are very, very important. So maybe you've done the actual work of developing your personal brand. However, your online presence isn't just limited to a singular location like your website or social media profile. But as you've just seen, your online presence includes lots of search results that are not your social media profile. This is basically your digital footprint. It's not your carbon footprint, it's something completely different. This is your digital footprint. And of course, you want to make sure that it expands as much as possible, but make sure that it's reputable and what, supports your brand. Now, a digital footprint is everything you do online. So internet activity not publicly searchable and does not contain any personal information. For example, cookies, browsing history, purchases online. Does sometimes log your IP and browsing history. That's about all. The content created by you, this is a big thing. Photos posted, statuses, videos shared, pages liked, and comments you make on other content. So content that refers or links to you. There's photos, statuses, comments, blog posts. Your digital footprint is part of your online presence, and left unchecked could be seen by anyone searching your name on search engines. Okay. So make sure there's nothing unbecoming in your particular. If they find a picture of you, which is not very complimentary to you, make sure that is taken off. You ask the people to take it off for you. So tips for cleaning up your online presence. Okay, so take the time to review your wider online presence to make sure your digital footprint reflects the best of you. All right. And delete profiles or channels that you no longer use. Detag or request removal of any third-party content that concerns you. And then keep a private profile and a public profile to make sure you know who is seeing your content, all right? Focus on pruning content that shows up in the first 2 pages when searching your name or handle on search engines or social networks. Now, there's some different tools we have. There is Google Alerts you can use. There's Mention as well. There used to be Desert Me, but that's no longer available. So there are a few tools you can use. So Google Alerts tracks mention of your name or information about news or products and emails any updates. Social Mention is a simple to use social media search tool that aggregates user generated content from across the internet into a single stream of information. It's a social media monitoring tool that allows you to track and measure what people are actually saying about your brand anywhere on the globe in real time. All right. So when does an online presence become a personal brand? After getting the audience to actually supply you with, with the particular things, the big thing is you've got to work out how you're coming across personally. And often it should reflect each other in complementary ways. So a personal brand identifies who you are and how you differentiate from your peers. Now, the difference between a brand and a personal brand is that your product is your skills and strength. A personal brand is how you represent yourself and differentiate yourself from the people around you. Strong personal brands allow you to build your career off what you've actually done before. Keep that in mind. I mean, think of a celebrity or well-known personality and how you might describe their personal brand. How do they leverage their personal brand? So, for example, some different examples we've got. Madonna, the highest selling female artist of all time, has had a dedicated fan base for the past 30 years. Her diva attitude is all part of her brand. Oprah Winfrey, talk show host, actress, and owner of her own production company, her opinion carries such weight that if she likes a book, it's been known to sell out. And the Dalai Lama. Despite living in exile, he's managed to be an inspirational figure worldwide, just to give you some examples there. So online brands can really create opportunities in real life. Now we've got two particular examples we're showing you here: Sarah Ritchie and Sheena Maui. Sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing that particular name. I'll just cut it down to Sheena. So Sarah trained as a professional health and wellness coach in 2010. Since then, Sarah started vlogging her fitness videos and workouts online. She now gets paid by fitness brands to wear their clothing and use their equipment. On to Sheena. Sheena initially started her blog in 2016 to collate all of the food images she was posting on her social media pages. Now, after setting up the blog, it quickly grew interest, and she started to receive questions and letters of her fan requesting recommendations. Since then, Sheena regularly receives invites from local restaurants to try their food in return for a review on her blog. So all of these things, they help, they work hand in hand, these different sides. Okay. So your online personal brand really does matter. If you want to be an influencer or not, your personal brand certainly matters. Now, online personal branding is becoming more important to more people as people use the internet to make decisions. And of course, a lot of us do use the internet to make these decisions about these different things. So who to hire? 69% of employees in a YouGov survey said they wouldn't check a potential candidate's social media when making decisions around hiring. 1 in 5 have said that they haven't hired someone because of what they have found on the social media. So social media is so important that 69% of employees, wouldn't check a potential candidate's social media. So it's really important that you do. And then the decisions around relationships, in a study of 2,000 American dating app users, 77% said they have researched a date online before meeting face-to-face. All of us, to a large extent, we use these different things to give us feedback before we make the decision. All right. So a goal gives a brand purpose. Very important. Define what a goal is. It's giving your brand purpose. Very, very important. So what is the goal of these 3 personal trainers? We've chosen 3 personal trainers, and they're actually quite distinct and slightly different from each other. Okay, so let's have a look at these. So let's go through these and look at who are their target audiences, because it's so important when you're building all of this up for your brand. You've got to work out who your target audiences are. There's a well-known thing which we mentioned, which is everyone is no one. You can't go for everyone. You've got to target your audience and work out who this is particularly for. So we've got here A, satisfaction, B, quality, C, credibility, these 3 sides. So A is results-driven, using social endorsements and hardcore workouts to show they actually get results. Now, with this particular one, it's authentic social endorsements, demonstrating skill and expertise, and good reach suggests popularity from all these different sides. Now, with the letter B, B is actually quality driven. Now, using a website that demonstrates professionalism and promoting a variety of services. So we've got here with the quality, professional website, customer reviews, which are often quite difficult to get. It's so important getting those. And then more than one service, wide variety of these different sides of the quality. C is relatable, sharing photos of him enjoying himself to show he will motivate you, but not as intensely as personal trainer A, for example. So, with this one, C is more credibility. It's more humanizing the whole process. So there you've got the 3 ones. So you've got satisfaction with A, B, the quality, and C, credibility. And they're different levels. So you've got to think about these different things. Now you know how they differ. What type of person may actually find A, B, or C appealing, So just to give you an example, it could be A could be more bodybuilders, fitness, people who are crazy about fitness. B could be more city professionals, groups of friends, a little bit more relaxed on that side, but quality, very important. C could be new mums, people who have longer term weight goals or lifestyle changes. They kind of fit it into their full lifestyle and everything. Okay, we're now going to look at a second example. All right. So let's have a look at this. Now, we're going to look at how to identify how the goal can actually impact personal branding in the context of the work search. Okay. So this is now Fatima. All right. Fatima actually uses LinkedIn to occasionally find roles and personal use. Now, if you have a look at these two different ones, I'll take myself briefly off the screen so you can see it a little bit more clearly. You will see there, what is Fatima's goal in the second example? You can see there, open to job opportunities, there, leader scaling, global biz dev teams to deliver quality inbound, outbound pipeline to close it. So you've got much more towards the goal there. So Fatima version B has been tailored towards clients and recruiters, use of powerful language, clearly setting out expertise, and liking relevant content shows demonstrated expertise. It helps you stand out from similar profiles. Now, Fatima has also marked herself as open to job opportunities, which means she'll appear in recruiters' job searches on LinkedIn as well. This, of course, is a modified LinkedIn profile. This is not a real person, but this is to show you different examples to give you a clear idea. Okay. All right. So now on to pausing for questions. This gives you a chance to ask any questions. No doubt, of course, Francois will have answered just about all of your questions. But if there are no questions at present, don't worry. You'll have a chance, don't worry, to fire away your different questions as we continue. Do take advantage of this opportunity. That's what we're here for, to answer as many questions as possible, to assist you and help you with this whole process. Okay. Now, let us move on to the next section. So, building your brand online. All right. So, of course, to build your brand, we are going to start with a clear goal, target audience, and content plan. Okay, so that's clear goal, target audience, and content plan. In other words, what do you actually want to achieve? Who do you need to engage with to achieve this? And what are you sharing to get these people interested in your brand? Those three main points: goal, target the audience, goal, audience, and content, to sort of short it down to just one word each. So first, decide your goal. Okay. A goal should contain something you can really track. For example, job, followers, client. This is so you can track your success. All right. And then, of course, finding more followers, finding new clients as well. So the ways to define your goal. Okay. So, if we go through this clearly, I want to present myself online because I want to. So it's filling in these gaps. I want to present myself online because I want to, going through these different points, okay? I will know I have been successful when. It's a big fact that you need to work out with all these different steps. How will I know if I've been successful? If I've managed to achieve what I'm setting out to achieve? So important. So you need to be able to have something which is measurable. You've probably heard, of course, of SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. This is an example a bit of SMART goals. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. I will know I have been successful when. Boom. Okay. So these are kind of the metrics for success, and the repeat activity going through the process, and maybe applying it to something else as well. But the clearer you can be, the more you're helping yourself to gauge how well it's working or not working, and learning from the process. Okay. Now, the big thing here is the more detail, the better. The goal really should be as specific as possible. Ask yourself, in what? Find a new job. In what? Grow your community. In what? Find new clients. To do what? All of these different things, just to give you examples. So, for example, I would like to get more followers of my digital marketing LinkedIn account through publishing social media best practice to small businesses with no social media presence. Okay, there we go. And then, of course, so that it is really nice and specific. Next, build out your target audience. So who do I need to reach to make my goal come true? You know, who do you need to reach? Elicit some, the big thing is work out the different things. Talk amongst your friends, well, your colleagues, come up with different ideas of the ones you're really trying to reach. And how can you engage with them? What kind of things can you use to get through to them? All right. And then, of course, building out your target audience. The more you know about someone or a group of people, the easier it is to find, research, and engage with them. We talk about, building up a persona. So, age, gender, location, has an account on, so likes, dislikes, reads, cares about, spends money on, has a pet poodle called, whatever it might be. But you're kind of painting it as clearly as possible so you can really know who you're targeting. So, for example, if I want to build a community of oboe specialists, the instrument oboe, my target audience would start with oboe players, classical music fans, and people who visit the orchestra, for example. You can research information about the classical music industry to find out more on who would be interested in oboes. Now, 42% are likely to be aged 40 to 60. The average price to visit the orchestra is 20 per ticket. My target audience has disposable income. These are some of the different things just to build it up, to make it clear as possible. Think of it like a detective. You're working out who are your main clients, okay, that you're targeting. All right, I'll carry on. I can see it's wonderful you're enjoying all of this, but do fire away with your questions. Anything that comes to mind, obviously related to this, do fire away. All right, so tools to find your target audience, these things to help you. Now, if you already have a social media presence on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, for example, there are plenty of tools you can actually use to see who is already interacting with your actual content. So similar tools exist on other social media platforms, but getting to grips with these can act as a jumping off point for you to dive deeper into analytics on any number of sites. Don't forget, all social media has got insights and everything, or analytics is often called. Okay, so Audience Finder is a very useful thing. It's on Think with Google. Audience Finder as well, Find My Audience it's called. That can help you as well. Social media business profiles, those can be very useful to make sure that it's all giving the right kind of introduction to people. Page Insights as well, and People Search as well. So specialist platforms can really save you time and effort, So, for example, I mean, the big thing, if you think of a kind of rule of thumb, choose a platform where your audience is the most engaged. Where are they hanging out? Use that, all right? But a good shortcut would be checking if there is a specialist platform you can promote yourself on. So selling arts and crafts by, you could be using Etsy, not on the high street, Facebook, Marketplace, a specialist platform, that sells arts and crafts, so all of these different things. Looking for a job in a startup, you could be using angel.co, work in startups, for example, and then looking for freelance content creation, People Per Hour, for example, is a collective freelancing site. Some of the different things you could be using. All right. So it's using all of those things and making sure that you're arriving at the right kind of platform for you that's going to help you. Okay, which words describe your brand? All right, I actually want you to choose 3 words from this list. Adorable, ambitious, authentic, bold, chatty, clever, creative, composed, detailed, different, direct, distinguished, efficient, entrepreneurial, entry level, expert, fast, fun, funny, honest, hopeful, etc. There's many words there to help you. You can choose some of those different words if they apply to you. If there's other words which you feel would apply to you better, please do share with Francois the 3 words you feel that actually describe your brand. Now, obviously, you can actually you can choose these different things, and obviously you can change them better later. So choose the 3 words here for your particular brand. Okay. How would you define yourself here with your brand? Okay. Ambitious, creative, entrepreneurial. Thank you, Anna. That's great. Okay, great. Witty, informative, and professional. Thank you, Niels, on your screen. Thank you. Great stuff. So I put myself back on the screen so you can see me again. Any more? Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Niels. Fiona, creative, supportive, and honest. Great. Honesty is a very important element these days, particularly. Two more, maybe? Give you a chance. Aha. Oh, Fiona, hardworking, innovative, and warm. That's lovely. That's great. Aha. Merita, different, hardworking, and honest. Ali, if you don't know the answer, that you do. Okay. I don't know what that was there, Ali. So Nurana, authentic, entrepreneurial, reliable. So think through all of these different things can really help you get an idea for what you're going to be putting down. And the big thing is just try it out. Put these different words down. You might think later, no, they're not. It doesn't matter. The whole point is you're getting your brain working on these different things. It really does help you come up with a different solution. And I'm sure that those people who have actually provided, Anna, Niels, Fiona, Manita, Nurana, all of you have provided those. That's your first step. You've communicated with us, which is absolutely fabulous. If you change it later, that's absolutely fine. That's the whole point. You're working through them. You're sharing with us. That helps masses, because it always helps to talk to your colleagues, to your friends, and get some feedback as well. So that's great. Wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Let me now move on to the next here. So, all right, step 3. All right, so create a handle and a biography. All right, so we've got here Fatima Allen, customer service manager from Manchester, interested in content marketing opportunities. Open University graduate in English literature, regular contributor to BuzzFeed and HuffPost community. New ideas or opportunities, email fatimaallen@gmail.com. So your handle is another name for your username. Okay, so your name online. Consider using your name or a clear summary of interest, Unique, easy to remember. Avoid using numbers, of course. So if your name is taken, try using underscores like we've got here, Fatima _Allen. Or putting them together, Fatima Allen, putting other words or switching around the order of the words. Your profile biography is a summary of your brand and sits underneath your handle. So your bio should summarize what you offer, your expertise, and what you want the audience to do. You're helping the audience there with those particular areas, okay? So to excite them about you, your offer, your expertise, and a call to action. Now, remember we covered that with Fatima Allen's, and here we've got it all here. So your offer is customer service manager from Manchester, interested in content marketing opportunities, those particular areas, really interested in it, keen on those particular areas, putting that across. Okay. Then we've got your expertise, Open University graduate in English literature, regular contributor to BuzzFeed and HuffPost community. It's that contribution that you give, that you take part in, you provide all this information there and everything. You're part of that community, which is so important. And then call to action, new ideas or opportunities, email Fatima_Allen@gmail.com. All right. So this really helps them with those 3 elements: your offer, your expertise, calls to action, call to action. So those 3 elements, all right? Remember that. Very, very important. Okay, so content consistency, really does build trust. The point is you've got to be sort of content of good things and everything. You don't want to have something which is disreputable or something which is going to really not go well with the consistency. So the whole point is your content must be consistent And that actually builds people's trust. If you think about it anyway, different people who you might watch on YouTube or whatever, or you might read their blog or whatever it might be, it builds that trust when you know where they're coming from, you know what they stand for, know what they represent. And of course, your biography is the first thing people read when they actually arrive on your profile. So all content you share and create should be consistent with these goals and values. Often when you go on a website as well, I don't know about you, I often look for not these stock photos, but I'm looking for the pictures of the people who are behind this, who are running this. If there's a video, fabulous, I can pick up even more. We're trying to pick up as much as possible. I've been part of the interview board for taking on employees and everything for the different things. And it's interesting because you got the CV, but when you were there at the interview, I'm hardly even looking at the CV. I'm got the person there in front of me. I can ask all these different questions of this person. I can pick up so many different things. So the more you can come across with your profile and your biography and everything, the better, because people will look for that. Okay. Let's have a look at a couple of different things here. So choose photos that really complement your handle. Okay. Your profile picture should match your handle. Okay. Now, if you have a look through these, I want you to guess what business is represented by each handle. So if we go through these, a couple of different ones. So we've got That Health Doctor, Love Cakes Do You, and we've got John Bread Maker. Now, there's one which kind of sticks out, which doesn't quite match at all. Can someone provide me some feedback on that and tell me which one you feel does not quite match the handle? I'll give you a chance to answer that because, of course, I know there's a slight delay anyway. But if you look through those, That Health Doctor, Love Cakes Do You, and John Bread Maker, have a look through these and work out which particular handle, which particular picture in this case, does not. Yeah, absolutely, Marita and Niels. Okay, great. I'm glad you do too, Niels. You love cakes too. Urana and Marita, yes, absolutely. The Love Cakes Do You. I mean, it's lovely. It's a lovely picture. He's smiling away. He's on the guitar. That's great, Fiona. He's on the guitar, and that's fabulous. But the point is, it's not really reflecting his handle. I love cakes. Okay, but now he's playing the guitar. Hang on. Well, so how does this match? So they don't really go together. Whereas That Health Doctor looks like really healthy food, but really delicious food on those pieces of toasted bread, is it? But it just looks really, really tasty. And then, of course, the far right one there, you've got their John Bread Maker, and there you can see him. We're there with the dough and actually building everything. Whereas the Love Cakes Do You, he's on the guitar. He's distracted. He's not on the topic. So it doesn't quite match in that way. So that kind of gives you an idea just for starting. All right. Okay. Let me see now. All right. Now, here we've got, here's an example of an influencer profile that is, following best practice. Okay. All right. So you can see the offer, expertise, and call to action is clearly outlined, and all elements of the profile point back to the bio. So we've got here the relevant photo, nice and clear photo, smiling away there, or yes, I think she is, but nice clear photo. You've got the relevant at handle there as well. And then you've got the content reflecting the offering. So really beautiful photos there as well, reflecting what that she's actually offering there. Okay. All of those things coming together, they're consistent, they fit in. Okay. All right. So your turn. Okay, now the big thing now is really to create a handle and a biography. So what skills and strength and experience do you want to highlight? Now, the interesting thing here, you've got skills and you've got strengths. I just want to differentiate them with you. Skills are, for example, you did a particular degree in something and you got the skills, you trained in the skills. That's absolutely fine. But those are skills, just to make sure we're clear on that. Often they're the most obvious. I've got a degree in this, I've studied that, I trained in that, or I trained other people to do that, whatever that might be. That's absolutely fabulous. Those are skills that you have. Strengths are often a little bit invisible in some ways, because if you think about any job that you play and everything, often people aren't actually aware of their own strength. And the reason being, often strengths are something that you excel at, but you often don't think twice about it because it's like, well, it's obvious. I couldn't charge for that. I could do it any day. Anyone could do it. But the interesting thing is, not everyone could do it. And even though you think it's not work, the point is you have that strength. Now, to find out about your strength, the best people to talk to are your friends, your family, and everything. Get them to provide feedback. Who do they turn to when they particularly need X, Y, Z? That gives you an idea, particularly, of your strength. And your strengths are very important, and often you're not aware of them because you don't feel they're marketable. You could be charging for them. So it's those things which are so important, okay? So in creating a handle and biography, you go through like a 4-minute activity. Ideally, you go through the different steps. So you spend, maybe 1 minute on step one, skills, strength, and experiences, write them all down. Okay. Then you move on to next minute. Okay. What does your target audience want to hear? What particular sides? And then maybe a little bit more time, 2 minutes, 4 minutes to actually write your bio. Okay. And then 2 minutes on sharing. So ask, basically you would share these different things. That's a good idea. The more you can practice it and share it and see what people's response is whilst you're providing these different things, gives you feedback, gives you an idea. But as I say, you probably best start asking about your strength with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues, to give you an idea, because often one's not aware of one's strengths because they just seem so obvious. Okay. Thank you, Francois. Yes, absolutely. Let's see what brilliant handles some of you have come up with. It'd be really interesting. And whilst I'm waiting to see what brilliant handles you've come up with, I'm going to go on to the questions now. So Ghazi, is portfolio website is better in personal branding? Certainly, Ghazi, if you've got a portfolio, now, of course, this always depends on your kind of work. I mean, one of the kinds of work that I have is animation. And of course, to build up a portfolio is very useful if I'm going to be taken on for something. I often demonstrate it on the website. So a portfolio website is useful. You can show you your content. I'm also a composer, and of course, having a website which is showing that particular side. So certainly, Ghazi, with certain industries, a portfolio website is very helpful. But don't forget, you can have both. You can have a personal branding, and then you can have links across to your portfolio website to help you. But of course, you're stating what you're doing and everything. And people often, they don't have time for anything, and a portfolio website can be a little bit overwhelming. And of course, they just want to see it, see what they're doing. And of course, they might, let's say, for example, with yours, Ghazi, they're looking for a particular person who has those skills. They want to know you, find out about you, and then at some stage, they might be able to have time to go through your portfolio website. But it's important you do have both. I hope that makes it clear. Yes, absolutely. As Francois was saying, online portfolio, accomplishments, previous work, all of that is so helpful. So it's important that the people who are checking you out do have access to that. Very important. All right, Fiona, what if you do not know what your niche is or you are struggling to? That's a really great question, Fiona. The important thing there is you've got to, of course, whilst you're developing it, you have certain skills, you have certain strengths, absolutely. The more you can do research into other people and other industries and everything, you're reading the feedback that they're getting, the questions that come up, and all these different things. And one of the things, a little bit like with the blogs, you can get a lot of ideas from those particular questions, and you can build up to a certain extent. Okay, I provide that. That person, that company, or that they don't provide it. So you can gradually build up more and more your unique selling point, what you provide that you can see a lot of people are asking for and wanting from their, their different people they take on. So I would recommend that you just do as much research as possible. And of course, obviously, networking meetings and everything can help you a lot. So you can talk with fellow people in your craft. It's not just competitors competing against, but finding out what their particular sides are can give you some ideas. I hope that helps you a little bit, Fiona. Obviously, it develops over time. All right. Okay. So I'm going to move on now to the next section because we've just got 20 minutes, which is exactly the right time. So increase your online visibility. So let's go through a couple of different things here for your online visibility, which is so important that you can be seen by people and they can find you there. Okay, let's have a look. So the big thing here now, of course, it's very, very important. You might have seen this with LinkedIn. Complete your profile, please. If it says it's not complete, make sure that you do complete it. Excuse me. It's so important, Recruiters on LinkedIn use a product called Recruiter. Okay, Recruiter, that's what it's called, which allows them to search by job title, location, and skills. Now, completing your profile means that when they search for someone with your skills and experience, you are actually, you're having done all these things, you're actually more likely to come up. So make sure, please, that your profile is actually completed. Now, the same goes actually for Facebook and Instagram. The more information you have about your business or brand on there, the more likely you will appear in a search if someone is using the relevant keywords to your brand or business. And are your job title, location, skills set up to date? And if people search for your desired job title, will they actually find you? Very important. A couple of different recommendations. Giving recommendations and endorsements notifies the user, which encourages you to recommend or endorse them back. You must have seen this particularly, for example, on LinkedIn. There's recommendations and everything. Endorsements, for example, are a powerful tool in shaping your brand. On other social sites, recommendations might come in the form of tags or cross-pollinated content from affiliated business brands or businesses. And then link, other profiles, what we were speaking about before, Ghazi, backlinking to other social media profiles, videos, or websites helps expand your network. Don't forget, unlike carbon footprint, we're trying to keep it down. With the digital footprint, we're trying to keep it as wide as possible so they can find you in different places, get information on that side. So tips to grow your network. All right, just a couple of different things. So post unique quality content. I mean, of course, may seem obvious, but it's it's now more crucial than anything. Brands can no longer get away with publishing subpar, unoriginal content. To be heard above all the other noise out there, and there's a lot, it's essential that you find a unique voice for your brand, a little bit like what I was talking about just now, Fiona, that your unique selling point, your unique side from your brand. How is your content different from everything else that's actually out there? How does it differ from your competitors, which I was mentioning? Give this some serious thought. And, whether that's through jaw-dropping photos or thought-provoking captions, find a way to make your brand really stand out. Now, give your followers something that they actually want to share as well, to pass on. So show them something that will really make them want to come back for more. A good rule of thumb is the following. Every time you post a picture, put yourself in the shoes of your buyer persona and ask, is this something that I would want to share if I were them? So think about those from the audience's point of view. Connect with your audience. Of course, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about, of course, responding to comments. Even if it's just saying something like, thank you. We do have a talk on writing for social media. We talk about responding to negative reviews as well. And it's really important that you do respond to them as well in a proactive way, in a helpful way. And it's important as well, you provide an email for them to continue the conversation so you take it off the public arena. And then to keep boosting your following, like and comments, pictures posted by your target audience, and follow users that are following accounts similar to yours as well. Now, many of the most successful brands on Instagram rely actually on visually captivating, compelling stories to connect with their audiences. So keep in mind on that. Whether that's by sharing a photo accompanied by an interesting and unique quotation, let's say, maybe, or providing fascinating historical tidbits, which people do go out and read, or posting a behind-the-scenes glance at your company. People love that. I do. No, I'm not everyone, but a lot of people do. There are numerous ways to tell stories on Instagram. Stories are so important. There was a test they did with stories. It was on TED Talks and everything. A person giving the talk, and they had volunteers who had detectors attached to their scalp, picking up the different sensors and everything. Nothing much was happening when the person who's there to give the talk and everything started. But when he started to started the story, the brainwaves started to go a little bit more in sync. If you think about it, if you go and see a film, you get grabbed by the topic and everything. You grab it by this whole thing. So it's the same sort of way we do love stories. So be sure, that the narrative is directly correlated with your brand's values and mission. Very, very important. The other side is, of course, be consistent. Now, according to Buffer, major brands post an average of 1.5 times per day to Instagram. Now, while posting frequently is important, you don't want to bombard your users with content. Now, after all, nothing is more annoying than a brand or individual that posts incessantly. Test to find the magic number that works for your particular brand and post away according to that. Also, make sure that you are consistent in the content that you post. Think about everything from the captions, the filters, the angles, the colors, the lighting. You've got slightly the background out of focus, all these different things. Develop a unique visual identity so that when users see your photos, they will immediately recognize your brand because of your style. And then post regularly. Posting at least once a day will increase your chances of being seen by your community. Posting 2 to 5 is ideal, but if that seems overwhelming, start by posting at least once a day. Well, yes and no. Whilst I'm saying this, you need to work out what is best for you and what you're able to do, what you're able to cover. Because don't forget, of course, you've got your business to run, you've got a lot of other things to do. Make sure you're not exhausting yourself too much with the different posts. And it's in some ways it's better that you plan well in advance. Let's say you're going to do one every 2 weeks. Okay, well, you've got a chance to, okay, I'm going to talk about this then I'm going to talk about that. Then you can gradually, as time goes by, your brain going, oh, hang on, that might be a better topic. Or, you can come up different things. You're giving your brain a chance to come up with different ideas and giving a breather to think of these different things. Okay. So tips to grow your network. All right, so comment, respond, and react to other users or profiles. You can easily increase your exposure by choosing other pages in your niche or with a similar audience to yours. For example, if you are a local business, comment on other local business pages, and then commenting on their posts at that page, at your page. The other audience will actually see your page in the comments and actually possibly connect with yours. Now, interesting fact, in their study of thousands of users, Twitter found that when a business responds to someone who tweeted at them, that person will be willing to spend more money on the same product in the future. In fact, they'll be willing to spend as much as 20% more based on that interaction. And the faster you respond, the higher that percentage climbs. So remember that. Be visual, use images and video as well. An image takes up more space in the newsfeed, and an interesting image can spark more likes, comments, and shares. And when more people are engaging with your content, more people have a chance to see your content. The other thing you can use is networking tools to connect. Now, to find thought leaders in your network, for example, so there's BuzzSumo, actually ranks content and people by the amount of retweets and shares in its network, and actually shows you trending content. To find interesting and relevant content to share. And Feedly is another one. Feedly actually helps you select topics that interest you, and it shows you a curated feed. And then Pocket lets you add any topic from your browser or content apps to actually read later, which is another useful one. Okay. All right. So use your online network to find new opportunities. All right. Okay. If you're a job seeker looking to make a brand for yourself, how could this translate to you? You could help you build a following, more followers, more credibility. You could build trust and companionships and better opportunities, these different things. Okay. All right. And creating shareable content for your brand. Very important. Okay. So add imagery where possible. So images with your updates, and that leads to a plus 150% retweets. Photos of people's faces, 38% more likes. People like to see us Homo sapiens, us humans, we like to see humans, other humans who are actually behind all this, who are representing this. Live broadcasted videos, 3 times more views than traditional videos. So all of these different things you can use to your advantage. And quick wins for writing posts are clear, concise, and friendly. So Facebook and Instagram are increasingly deprioritizing pages from the newsfeed and prioritizing interaction and conversation. So that is so important, especially nowadays. And additional stats and facts, 38% more likes. Yes, and there's Quinterly's study on Facebook, particularly sharing 2018. There's quite a few different ones here. The big thing is it's super important to stay up to date with social media because platforms change how they prioritize content. This is very important. So what works today probably won't work as well in a year's time. There are different things you can use to help you to gauge what's working, what's not. One is Think with Google. So Think with Google can give you a lot of feedback, a lot of ideas, as well what is happening with the market in the different places and everything. Product pages for your chosen platform. There's things like Sprout Social and Hootsuite, for example. They're very good blogs, on digital marketing. So there's all of these things can help you. And if time allows, run the following 6-minute activity. Break the participants into groups of 4 or 5. Okay, so these are the different things. One of the things I forgot to mention, which I kind of worded slightly different, if you have a chance, with all this different stuff, some of you are going to be really having one main client. And of course, you're defining this with your persona. Who are they? What do they stand for? What do they follow? Where do they hang out? Which is so important. However, some of you are actually of a bigger kind of company, a bigger sort of following. And sometimes you will have to divide your groups into certain different groups. So some people who are following you will be interested in some parts, and some people will be interested not in that, but that. So you need to kind of build this up a little bit, okay? So you can work out what these particular sides are as well. Okay. The other side here, we've got develop a visual look and feel, okay? There are apps like VSCO or Photoshop, can help make your images look more consistent and helps you to edit your images. There's another one I know about called Affinity Photo you can use, of course, another piece of software. And again, this can work really well with the images. Don't stage your photos too much. Look for moments or achievements in your day that will reflect what you'd like to actually talk about as well. And try to use natural light when taking photos. That's ideal. But sometimes you need, of course, special lighting and everything. Of course, if you've got lamps and everything, you can be using that. That's no problem. But it's kind of working out what works best. Don't use lighting directly overhead you. Then you've got this shadow. I mean, I must admit, I have got lighting above me, but that's a skylight. But considering the weather at the moment, there's not much light coming from it. And then, of course, I've got my 2 lights over here, just to give you an idea. Okay, so try, if you want to know a little bit more about that side, there's getting started with live streaming. We talk quite a lot about that side. So try interactive media. So, ask your audience questions. What are the interactive medias, you could try. So you could start polls, and of course you can be using stories. Stories that just help so much. They work so well. Posts as well, live stream as well. So all of these different things you can be using. Of course, posts, you've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, for example, and then live streaming, YouTube Live, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well. And then, of course, you can get a lot of different answers from the participants, which can really help you. And how can you get your audience reacting to the particular content? Think about this. Go through this carefully for yourself. So your turn. All right. What kind of content appeals to your target audience? Think about this carefully. Look at your competitors. What kind of content do they use? I mean, obviously, you don't have to follow and do the same thing, but you could be learning from them. Maybe there's something they don't provide that you could be providing. What message do you want to communicate? What are your principles? What are your values of your company? What's your visual look and feel? All of those things are so important. All right. And the big thing is, what content can you share to engage your customers and really reinforce your brand? So important. Okay, so let's go on to the questions. Fiona, what kind of mindsets do you recommend? In other words, for career plan? Okay. Okay, Fiona, that's quite a big one. All right. So with your mindsets, particularly for your career plan, the big thing, we have got a talk called getting, let me see now what's called again, career working, something to do with career. Sorry, I can't think of the name right now, but it's a very useful one, deciding on your career goals. I think that's what it's down as. The great thing about this is you work out. We've got the Venn diagram, so we've got the three circles and how they interact, and therefore you go particularly for this. So Fiona, if you tend that one, I recommend it. Now, just to give you, what I like about it particularly, it starts with, what do you like to do? What are you good at doing? That's the second circle. And then what will people pay for you to do? But it's starting everything from your own side. And it's so important that you do start from your own side to work out these different things. Because at the end of the day, if you get a job, you're getting paid, that's all fine and good. But the point is, if you're not enjoying it, if you're not feeling fulfilled, then you know what I mean? It's not working for you. So, of course, you've got to bring all these different things in. I hope that helps a little bit, Fiona. It's a big topic to bring up at this point, but hopefully that helps you a little bit, okay? So, all right, what are your next steps? Okay, so, of course, there's a lot I've covered today, a lot to take away. Don't forget, when I finished at 4 o'clock UK time, you have up till 24 hours after you can go back and have a look at any part of the talk. Of course, don't go now or you'll miss out on the interaction now. But the whole point is, take on all these different things. These are all free to you, to help you, to assist you. And obviously learn what you can actually use to actually really put yourself forward, as an employee, or whether for your own business, whatever it might be. Are there any further questions before we actually end? Do please fire away with any questions. There is also here now free one-to-one mentoring available from Google. This is for small businesses or charities in the UK. Afraid at the moment it's only in the UK. Hopefully this will develop eventually to the world. And then, of course, you can sign up for Google Mentoring at g.co/UK mentoring. Thank you very much, Francois. So that's to help you there with a different size. And of course, we're here to assist you with all the different sides to help you with that. Okay. All right. So everyone, I want to thank you for all your fabulous questions, your contributions. Been really nice. It's really nice when you do take part in this way, because that's the whole point. You're getting out there, you're communicating with us, which really helps. We are now going to actually wrap up here, as we're out of time. We only got 1 minute left. I hope that has been a useful dive into build your personal brand online today. As I mentioned at the beginning of this session, if you are interested in more training from Google Digital Garage, there are a few ways you can continue learning. We are running many more Google Digital Garage webinars in different subjects. If you would like to check out the schedule of webinars, please see information on this in the description below, and we will be updating the schedule regularly. Also, if you'd like to carry on learning online in your own time, check out the Google Digital Garage website for more online training courses which are available to you 24/7. Okay, thank you very much, Francois. You've been fabulous. Thank you, everyone, for joining today and all your contributions. We really do look forward to welcome you again to another Google Digital Garage training session soon. Thank you.